And go.
And go. And go. It's the first time we've actually streamed on our own channel for a while. So today we figured we would just do a live stream of our review of Flying Sparks. The cover here sucks. This
So
art is awful.
somebody requested that
Hmm.
we review this.
Here's
The author themselves requested
the author,
we
yeah, because
review this.
we get asked a lot. In fact, we used to get asked a lot back in the shitty webcomics days. Hey, use my comic, and they were really just trying to
Can you
promote.
review my comic? Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially trying to promote it, which is fine, but now we're not doing it for free. This is the last one that we're doing for free.
Yeah. Anyways, here's this the main cover. It sucks. It looks stupid, awkward, kind of
Again,
bland,
covers I don't give a
dumb.
shit about.
Yeah, I don't really
There's
care. That
nothing
one sucks.
special about covers to me.
This the second one is better. It's a nicer cover. I'm not sure who did the second one, but that one's nicer. And credit page, and then it just begins. It has a nice beginning because a little bit of a boost over other comics where it starts off with some Riona. The only thing is, though, at the beginning,
He definitely knows how to catch my attention. At
a little
least
bit.
almost.
Yeah, almost. But here's the problem: is she's like, "Oh, I thought superhero would be easy." It's almost borderline Whedon-esque. I thought superheroing would be easier than this. I watched enough movies and see how they fight. Turns out special effects aren't easy to pull off in real life. This couldn't have gone worse. So she gets punched, which is again, that's a good start. That is, I do recommend that. But like
Just
supposedly,
erase all of the things where she talks. Just
yes,
erase all of her dialogue.
yeah, that's always something about like first time comics is they always start loading it up with narration captions, and I would say what you should actually do is
Just
never.
because the character can talk, or just because you can write something, doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I would say for your first comic, avoid doing narration at all if you can help it. But so she gets punched,
Unless
falls
you're
off the
us.
building. Yeah,
Unless you're us.
unless you're us, yeah, that's the difference. But the thing is that for my first comics, I didn't. So especially on the first page. But for a bunch of my other comics, though, I mean, it doesn't matter. And so she gets punched and falls off the building, but she's like, oh, she's got anti-grav tech boots. And then she goes up and tases the guy. And it's like, that makes the first win for Meta Girl. Maybe superheroing isn't so hard after all. So what I wonder is, who's this guy she's fighting and why? Why is she fighting him? What did he do? Why is she fighting him? Is he a bad guy? Are his qualifications for being a bad guy? Who is he? Why is he? The thing is, every time you write a character, it doesn't matter who they are, what they're doing, how short they show up. All of them have a family, they have a life, they have a day job or something they go to. Every time, it doesn't matter if you don't write it, doesn't matter if you never show it. They still have that. They're supposed to.
Yeah, if you
So
didn't think to put this into your story, then you need to go back. You need
yeah,
to
it
go
kind of
back.
it's inherent laziness in writing, and there's too many comic books that are just like this, where
There are too
they
many comic books.
yeah, there are too many comic books, but the vast majority, especially, and it's one of the reasons why indie comics are a complete waste of time, is because they're written by people who don't really write any detail. They don't really
That was
care
actually one of
about
the
the
things I was thinking
details.
about earlier is we used to watch IFC. I'm not a huge fan of independent movies, but we
Yeah,
used to watch IFC
independent
kind of a lot.
cinema. Yeah, I remember. Well, it was because one of
Cinema.
the only movie channel that we actually got aside from Stars and Encore, which didn't have a lot of good stuff either. But when they had something good, like they would run Demon Knight. That's a great fucking movie.
Mm.
Uh, they would run Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. But yeah, I remember Independent Film Channel had really low budget, obscure, weird little shit and some foreign-y kind of stuff. That was sometimes decent, and sometimes a lot of it was really pretentious crap. But yeah, that was independent stuff, and it was like okay. So yeah, she describes that she has anti-gravity boots and the stun stick and all that shit, or shock stick. But again, it's like, who is this guy? Again, what are his qualifications? How much of a bad guy is he a rapist? Like as much as
We need
Lodestar,
to know. if he's a rapist.
Yeah, but well, at least Lone Star started off by
Lone
just
Star.
establishing
Wait, what?
as
What
as
comic? Huh? What?
Lone Star, as lazy and cliched as that was, at least it just starts right off establishing that they're going to rape a chick. So you know why they're bad guys. This guy, you have no idea. There's no explanation, and when there's no explanation, I'm immediately out. Um,
Yeah, it's something that I definitely have no interest in when it comes to other comics. Is like, oh, we got a huge rogues gallery of enemies. Oh, what are they like? Well, 99% of them just want to rob banks. Okay,
yeah,
I'm out.
yeah, I'm out. And that's why not just superhero comics, but indie comics in general. Most of them are just like the
I
reason
mean,
why they
that's the
can't
big
make it
one.
to the big league is because they're just lazy at
That's
writing.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's one of the most popular and beloved comic characters in comics history, and his characters suck.
Yeah,
All of the characters suck.
his original stuff is a little creative for the '60s, but I don't
The
care.
60s have been over for a long, long time, and it's
Yeah.
time for people to grow up. It's time
Anyways,
for the industry to get a life.
yeah, and indie comics again have not evolved past that, and in fact, to a huge degree, they've regressed. Pretty much everyone else who has ever written for Spider-Man has sucked. Spider-Man's not really interesting or
The
good.
question you should be asking yourself if you're going to fucking make any story is, is this important? Do I
Yep.
need this? Does the world need this? Do I need do I need to make this or not breathe?
Does this story need to be told? Is it screaming to be told? And if you're just having a thing where she's on a rooftop, punch a
Has the
guy,
world been
and he's the bad
crying out
guy.
for this story?
Yeah,
And
for
for
this
so
bad
many
guy.
comic books, so many people who make comics don't realize that. And I
Here's the
don't know
story
why.
here's
Why
the
would you
story
waste your time?
the story I would love to hear. Who's this guy? What does he do all day? Here's what I want to know. What's this guy's story?
Yeah, I'm not
That might
interested
be
in
an
the
interesting
fucking
story.
main character.
That would be more interesting than any other. And I know that's also been done, but again, it's like, how about a story where the villain is the main character? And again, that has been done, but
Definitely not in cape shit.
if there looks to be more of a story there. But anyways, it's like, oh, she has a boyfriend, and it's like, oh, her boyfriend is dealing with stolen stuff. He's fencing stolen goods, but she doesn't know, and he doesn't
And that's
know.
the thing is, this would be interesting too, but it kind of isn't.
And the art's okay. I would say it's really good for a
No
web comic.
complaints.
Yeah.
I have no complaints about the
Again,
art.
if the art was better, I still wouldn't have any complaints. I wouldn't say, "Oh, the art you need better." I don't
Definitely
really
wouldn't
care.
have any complaints about the art, but I
Um,
wouldn't really have much else to say about it either because it's in service to something that's really not that engaging.
yeah, that's the thing. If the art was worse, I still wouldn't really have any complaints about it. I don't really care because I don't care about the story. What happens then? Like 10 pages in, she's going to the Dr. White, whatever, who
Walter
designs all
White.
her. If Walter White, who she establishes designs all of her tech. But here's
Yeah,
the thing.
this is where things get confusing.
Well, what I asked myself, just like when I asked who was that bad guy, what exactly was it that he was doing? Why are they fighting? If there's no answer to that, it's lazily written. It's a bland story, and you've already lost me. Now, the guy inventing her tech. Here's the question: why is he giving her his tech? Why isn't he just patenting it, making $1 billion?
I can
Go make
understand why
billion
he's not using
dollars.
it himself like he's Iron Man because the guy is like 50 or 60.
Yeah, he's some
I can
old
understand
dude.
that.
Yeah, fine, whatever. But the thing is like, who is he? What is his story? Why is he giving his tech away instead of using it to get rich? Why isn't he getting rich? That's the first question. Why isn't he? That's the first question that needs to be answered. Why isn't he using it to get rich? And the thing is, if I don't know the answer immediately, then I'm like, eh. So I scrolled through a few more pages, and it was clear that there weren't going to be any answers to this question. So I just closed the comic, and that's it. So I don't know.
Like, share, comment, subscribe. I actually read the whole comic though.
You read the whole comic, and here's the thing: I asked you, do they ever explain why she uh, is getting this guy, like this inventor guy? Do they ever explain why he isn't just selling his tech?
If they do, I actually don't remember. But yeah, I don't think there is an explanation.
Is there an explanation of who the guy is that she's fighting at the beginning?
If there is, I don't remember. It clearly wasn't memorable enough. I'm pretty sure there isn't.
Yeah, so again, if there's no answer to, and if you were going to be like, oh yeah, that has something to do with later in the story, I would be like, oh okay. Even if you didn't remember what it was like, oh yeah, there is something about that later in the story. I would be like, okay, I'll keep reading. But I asked you, and you said, no, not really. And I was like, okay, well, I'm basically done. So I got like 17 pages in, and I closed it.
There's honestly just not much else to remember about it because it's
So
very typical. There's no
yeah,
surprises.
and
Not throwing
again,
you for a loop.
and in that case, why even make it? Why make a comic like that? What does it matter? What's the point? And I
What is your goal there?
yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess for comics, 5 out of 10. For the rest of art, what, a 3?
2.
To be honest, again, 5 out of 10 for
I
comics.
can't.
I'd
I
still
definitely
say this is
cannot.
ahead of Jawbreakers
Yeah,
or
yeah. I can't bring
Lone
myself to
Star.
hate this. I
But
can't. I don't
here's the
feel like
thing:
it
if you're gonna make a
completely
shitty
drags down
comic,
the medium.
make it the shittiest comic you possibly can, because at least that'll hold my interest a little bit more, just as a joke. But aside from
Yeah,
that, no.
if you can't bring yourself to write something actually interesting, then
Yeah, I mean that's what one thing. Like the a couple of superhero comics I wrote, when I had the villain, wherever they are at the beginning or whatever, I'm like, okay, they have a full backstory, they have a life. And even if I don't tell it in the story, I have to understand that they have a life. And so all of them have a fucking backstory. But then again, the comics I write are just completely different from anything anyone's ever seen. So as far as villains or the people's um, motivations, that's something I always consider. I always think about, and I don't know why anyone would write a story where they don't bother thinking about that, unless they're just a completely mediocre writer. So I don't know.
except for in literally.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, again, the other comics that I've fully scripted, the villains in that aren't just villains. They don't just like their motivation isn't I am the bad guy. There's a whole story behind
Story
them.
isn't about heroes versus villains. The story is about the main
Yeah.
character. The
Anyway,
main
so there,
character's
I'm just
life.
leaving off at that. That's the whole review. I closed it at before I even got to 20 pages at the end.